Welcome, everybody. I did a session on Power BI at your Innovation Summit last year, but not in person. So thank you for having me back. I'm Heather Masters. I work as a co-pilot cloud solution architect now, but I have had a long passion for data. And I started working with Power BI when I was interested in employee analytics. And so I wanted to visualize the analytics we had in M365. And I started working on that in Power BI. And that's how I started learning about it. And then within Microsoft, I got some certifications and accreditations on Power BI, and I don't need to work on it as often as I would like now because most of my work is in Copilot. However, this is not about Copilot. So in the meeting, if you have any, the Q&A is active. If you need to reaction or raise your hand, you can do that all with your meeting controls. Everyone should have a personal Power BI dashboard. Data culture at your fingertips. I totally believe in this, and in our Microsoft tenant, I have all of my favorite reports in dashboard format as much as I possibly can. Not all of my reports allow me to do that because I don't have the right kind of access, but definitely as much as I possibly can, like to get everything in a Power BI dashboard. We're going to talk about getting started with Power BI, and I know the name of this session was Power BI in an hour, and we only have 45 minutes, but we'll definitely get you to some Power BI. I think to be able to cover it. We're gonna use a template and some CSV files to get to the content that we need. Just a quick slide about installing Power BI Desktop if you don't have it yet. How to use that Power BI template, create a report, publish that report, and understand workspaces. So if you don't have Power BI Desktop, it's a free download. And it doesn't require any specific licensing to get Power BI Desktop. So you can work in Power BI Desktop all you want. It's the publishing process that requires the licensing, but Desktop itself, you can download and make sure you have the application in, launch that Power BI Desktop. And you see, you can go to the app.powerbi.com. Also in your portal in Power BI in your tenant, there's a link available there too. So either way, to get that free Power BI desktop product. Great. Once you have it installed, it'll walk you through some getting started content. It's actually some pretty good content there to go through, some video links about learning about the Power BI features. So you can click that X if the window appears and explore that information on your own later if you want to do so. So some terms here, Power BI terms. So A dashboard is a single page that shows visualizations of the most important elements from one or more reports. A report is made up of one or more pages. In most cases, each page is designed to tell a story, and that story is told with visualizations, text, shapes, and images. You can package up your reports into an app. So you can have a packaged content with managed permissions for different audiences, and that will contain both reports and dashboards. So a lot of the time, we're in a report, right click on a visualization we like, we can pin it to a dashboard if we have the proper permissions. And that's why it's nice to be able to take that content, have it on a dashboard that's just right at your fingertips, and get to what you need quickly. So for our purposes today, we're going to start from a report. We're going to start from a GitHub. Over. So this is a GitHub that's available to the public. This guy has a few really good reports out there that you can download, but this is a Copilot audit report because most of us work in government community cloud tenants. Those don't have us reporting yet. So there's some usage reporting that's available to us with Copilot, but not a whole lot. And so until we get some better reporting in M365, this is a great way to create your own reporting and your own visuals from the audit data from the Copilot audit reports. And so every interaction in Copilot is documented in the audit log. So we can use some scripting to get that data out of the audit log and provide some good reporting. So a couple things to note. We go here to scripts. You'll see there are two scripts that can be run. And I would recommend that you include some automation to get this on a regular basis and not have it be somebody's job to run these scripts. So, get them in a Power Automate. There are two scripts. One is get events and one is get users. We take that data. It's going to export that data into CSVs. We take that data and put this in a Power BI template. That's that pbit file there. You'll see anytime that that you're using a Power BI template, instead of being a pbix file, it's going to be a pbit file. And so we get to download these assets, use them in our environment, and really get a head start on the process here and get some nice reporting. So I'll show you. We'll go here. So these scripts that are available in the GitHub allow you to get the users we need and export a CSV. You'll see the CSV path here. For the get users, you can see I've got this special command for GCC only. So something to think about. You're grabbing that user by the license ID. And that license ID is different for commercial and GCC. So you'll see I've got this assigned licenses. You'll see the documentation of that here and the issues list for this GitHub. Audit get user script won't work in GCC environments. You need to update the license, that SKU ID. And so just one little update to the file and it'll make it GCC compatible. So we're running that script to get the users out and get the events. So 2 different scripts that we run. Bring that back over. And you'll see I like to use Visual Studio Code for my PowerShell. Doesn't matter if you like to use another PowerShell window, that is totally fine. But you can see I'm getting the content. Here's my CSV. So once I run these scripts, I'll have the content. But you can see that I have saved the Copilot report folder here. I've got the audit report in the form of my extracted file. So here are all my scripts and that pbit file. When you open that pbit file for the first time, it's going to ask you for some parameters. The other green real quick. So once you've got that pbit file and you open it up, it's going to ask you for the location of the log path for the events and the log file path for the users. Those are the output CSV files for the 2 scripts. So if you have automation running those scripts and you've got those CSV files saving to a SharePoint library, then that could be your log path. Mine, I just have a simple CSV. I don't have any automation behind it yet. So I can just designate that log file path to be that file location. And then I've got this interaction duration in seconds Now, if you've got a ton of data, a really large tenant, like most of you do, then you can use this interaction duration seconds to kind of pare down that data. And if you don't want to see interactions that are less than a minute, then you can use this to pare down your data. And then you'll hit load, and I'm going to show you what that looks like here. So let me make some space. So this gives us, based on that audit report data, this gives us the Copilot interaction history. So because we extracted that user data, we get to filter by department if we like, a single employee name, or what application they interacted with. Departments in my demo tenant. But you can see by application. So what my interactions were per month from my users. You can see what applications have the most traction. In this case, Copilot, just the Copilot chat app, and Excel are my most highly used interactions by application. Weekly interactions, that's the monthly. Here's the weekly interactions by application. It's giving me the ratio of those interactions. My most active users where Thomas has been doing the most there. My top sources, so where are the files that I'm calling? So OneDrive for Business, SharePoint Online, or Teams. And that's the overall screen. Then we've got impact here. And you can have, I've got all the departments selected here because it looks like my people need some department data. But you can use the slider for different periods, active and licensed users. So adoption rate, we consider that really low, but it is my demo tenant. So I've got 4 active users in my demo tenant out of 24 licenses. I should probably get those other demo users out there and be able to show a better adoption rate. You can see approximate time spent in minutes here. So Copilot Studio Agent, Excel, Loop, Outlook, PowerPoint, and I can filter this data based on department if I've got that information in. We've also got a nice decomposition chart. So you'll see that I can click on my Copilot interactions. My departments are blank here. My job titles are too, but then my applications are available here. And then I can see which employees use that particular application. So you can use the time frame in this filter. Nice visual for adoption rate. And you can use this slider to visualize by month. And I can see the active users and licensed users by app here and their type of monthly interactions. And trends, this one should be important, this one should be interesting as we roll out new functionality to Copilot. The trends of the applications that are used. So you can compare two departments here. And so if I wanted to drop down for sales or marketing, those would I would be able to compare by department, top active users, interaction time, and then I can also filter by that trend.
When is Copilot going to be available to us? Because only a select set of us have it right now.
Yeah.
For part of the testing. At least at DEQ.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
At least at DEQ.
DEQ. I'm not sure of your timeline specifically.
I can answer. So DIT has given certain licenses out through an evaluation period through June 30th. And then DEQ will begin paying those licenses. And so you all would make the request through your CIO.
But for GCC, Copilot is, it's available as a product, and so you just have to go through your approval process and ask for those licenses. Now, for Power BI, your license would depend on your overall M365 license and what you've got, but most of the state has access to what's called Power BI Pro. So we can publish our data up to the Power BI service and have workspaces there. And that would be the majority of state users have that benefit. So once you got your report, and I'm going to just go back one step here and show you where we see the path. Here's our log file path where we're getting that data. And this is the imported data as a table for Copilot and for users. And just a calendar table. Once you've got your data there.
Question. Are the file paths on their local file paths? And if so, how does that work with moving these reports to the cloud?
Those that I have
Yeah.
are local paths. You can use, so depending on where you want to save it in the cloud. Would it be SharePoint?
Yeah.
So instead of using those local file paths, you have the option of selecting your data. Cancel here. And I'll show you if we go to get data. You'll see this SharePoint folder option. You could save your CSVs in that SharePoint folder with some automation and have them run on a regular basis. You'll just put the site URL there and those CSVs will become available to you. So you would just have to change that parameter a little bit for this template, but definitely can access SharePoint content.
Okay.
So once we've got the data looking like we want it, we can get published here. And that's you hit publish, you can see I'm signed in with my regular Microsoft account. So it's going to try to publish to all of the places that I have access there. I'm just going to choose my workspace. For Power BI, if you are just getting started with publishing Power BI reports, my workspace is a good development environment. Think about it like it's your OneDrive for Power BI. But once you've developed the Power BI, you like it, you want to share it with others, it's best to create an additional workspace and not share out of my workspace, on a production basis. I'm going to publish that up there. The over. So now it's saved up into the cloud, and in my Power BI workspace, that's my workspace. Question?
Yes, you built all these based on prompts that you went through with
Oh,
Copilot.
no, this is this GitHub template.
Right?
So no, definitely didn't build it based on prompts. So there are a lot of great templates out on GitHub. We're recommending this one to our customers for GCC data, just because it's better than what you've got natively in M365. But the template was existing in this GitHub, so I didn't create it.
You just fed it the data.
Yes, we just fed it the data. And he's got a couple of other reports out here. The SharePoint sites report that could be handy as well. So good GitHub to follow. So once we've got this data in the Power BI service, then we can decide who should have access to it. So this is in my workspace. Like I said, it's fine to provide access to a few people like you would with OneDrive, but if this becomes something that you could call production ready, I'd move it to a shared workspace, because if you leave the organization and you've got some information in your My Workspace, it's really hard to recover and move out of it. And it's up to you to make the updates. Then you want to make sure that you've got it in a place where you have a backup, somebody else to help own the data, and allow you to go on vacation once in a while. So don't be the single point of ownership for your Power BI reports, for sure. But you can send a link to share for your My Workspace. Now you'll see here, once we've got it up in our Power BI service, we've published that up, it's going to offer you the option to publish to any workspace that you have access to. My Workspace is kind of the first step to get your data in, and then you can choose a shared workspace that you've already got access to, or request a workspace to be created, depending on your internal processes. Now you'll see once I've got it up here, I do have Copilot and Power BI. This is not part of M365 Copilot. So this is a different service, but you do have some options to understand the data, to dig deeper. It's going to be able to answer some questions about your data. And give you a narrative. So let's see, my report page is an overview of M365 usage from late August to early June. Monthly interactions peaked in November for Excel and Copilot with notable Outlook activity in April. Word interactions showed a significant downward trend, declining by 98.2% from February to June. And most interactions occurred in the afternoon. Interesting narrative about the data on the page. You can ask other questions as well. But it's got a few pre-written prompts, so you can ask Copilot about the data. So if I am ready to publish this to a shared workspace, I go back to Power BI Desktop. In a shared workspace, you get to assign different roles to people in your organization that should have access to that workspace. And so now when I go here, back into the service, I go to that workspace that I just published to. And here's my newly published report. So this would be the better place to share because you can share from that workspace itself. Here in Manage Active, to add people or groups as different roles. So admin, member, and your contributor or viewer. If you want someone to be able to add these visualizations to their own dashboards, then you'll want them to be contributors. And viewers don't have the ability to export, but have someone who can help you manage the process. I give them admin access, at very least member access. They'll be able to help with updating the data. So once I published this to my workspace, that became something that was available from the report and the data model, which is now called semantic model in Power BI, to be able to manage. And if we did keep that information in SharePoint, using it in the semantic model, we would be able to hit that schedule refresh button, have our files updated in SharePoint in a regular amount of time. Let's say that we have this run on an automation on a weekly basis, then we can schedule our refresh of the report for when that new CSV is up there in SharePoint, and be able to automatically get fresh data.
I have a question. Now that you've made a semantic model and that's automatically then uploaded to SharePoint along with the report, you don't need the local files anymore?
Right.
Okay.
So we've got our GitHub report with all of the good data. We've installed Power BI desktop to be able to publish that data up. We didn't have to create the visualizations because they were already in our template. And we published to this service.
Can you maximize the slides? on
Oh, I'm
this?
sorry, yeah. So we published to the Power BI service. It gives us a link to where we've published the content. So once you've got your data in Power BI, you go there. I go home. You can see that I've got all of the reports that I have access to. It's the one that I just published. And if I want to see this application ratio or maybe our top active users in Power BI, you have some options here. So if you want to create a dashboard of your own, and not have to go to the report to get this information, and then so we have some options. I'm not getting my little.
I don't
But
have the permissions to pin.
I know I published it. I should have the permissions to pin.
You have to pin in edit mode.
I don't think so. Yeah, usually you can just pen without edit mode. But I can create an alert. So let's say that you wanted to see when something changed on this report and get an alert. You can publish that alert out to a team. So let's say that about active users, I select a measure here. And total time changes. So you can set thresholds on your data. I've got changes here or becomes a certain amount, send a notification via team, send it to me. Email here. And apply. And now when this information changes, I'll get a Teams message alerting me to that change. Not that in the template, he's got them blocking to dashboards. And so to be able to get that dashboard pin, I'll have to go back into Power BI desktop and make some changes here to my options. See that pinning. the option there, but, we haven't blocked, typically you can pin the visual. Oh, here we go. So it looks like I can pin the whole page. It's, the way that it was created, rather than visual by visual. It's allowing you to pin the dashboard to a whole page, or pin the whole page to the dashboard. So when you get the deck, you'll get a PDF of the content and a link to the link to the GitHub Power BI. But there are a lot of other templates out there to explore, and so this one's a great one. He also has a SharePoint report that's really good. But it's a good way to get started with your Power BI visualizations without having to create everything from scratch. And in this case, there are scripts to gather the data, so it makes that data pretty easy to reach. If we were going to just start from some CSVs that we already had, rather than having to get to that content. Desktop here. When we go to get data, wherever our data is, so we can import from CSV. If it's local, then we can find it here in text in CSV and access it directly. But you have all of these great options to get your data, more. We've got these static files that you can also use that SharePoint folder. Get your data from lots of different options. A long list of options. Any questions? So I knew we could create a report in under an hour. Thank you for being here today.